Now, there's a moment in conversation where somebody realizes what they just said just ain't going to work on you. And you can see it too, like they're reaching for something, anything to try to get power back. But watch this.
The reason is that white supremacy needs to keep us divided. That's the whole point, that these people literally come, and it's a strategy of dividing people who, even though we all look very similar to one another.
Hold on. So let me slow you down because you're misinformed. The problem, I don't know if you guys think that we're stupid, but in your minds, you don't think we're smart enough to look at you, judge your actions, and say, you know what? I don't think this is good for us. I don't think this relationship is good for us. That's like you being, I'm gonna give you an example. That's like you being in a toxic relationship with a boy and you want to split. And he says you only want to split because of white supremacy. Go on for that. If you're in a toxic relationship with a boy and he won't let you leave because he thinks white supremacy is the reason why you think you want to leave, are you not smart enough to come with your own conclusion?
No, I think everybody's able to come up with their own conclusion. So
why do you keep bringing up white supremacy when we're making decisions?
Because
the first time you said, every time I close my eyes and I hear you guys talk, I just think of white supremacy. It's like, you don't think that we have a say. Like, you don't think we're smart.
I think you're smart. But I think that white supremacy works very hard and people internalize that. Even African Americans, I think that a lot of people internalize white supremacy. That's why we have specific standards that people hold themselves to.
And listen, you keep talking this white supremacy shit. Your parents didn't come here to go against white supremacy. You're the last person to talk about it. That's the problem I have with y'all. Y'all keep coming here talking about some white supremacy, that. Did you come here to go against it? If white supremacy wasn't allowing you into the country at first, why would they all of a sudden let you into the country? What do you think? What you think changed their minds?
Because they needed cheap labor. Because they were already treating African Americans that they already brought here
Black
through forcible enslavement.
See, you started off wrong. White supremacy started off building their wealth off our backs, but we started to go against white supremacy. We have a long standing of going against white supremacy. We built our own communities. We made the most inventions. We didn't need white supremacy. We had our own communities. They kept infiltrating our communities and we kept going against that. Convinced some white people to believe in us too and join our side. That's how influential we were. They needed another group of people that had zero experience on going against white supremacy, which is you Caribbeans and you Africans.
So she just kept kind of going back to the same thing over and over, right? Like it was supposed to shut everything down, but he didn't allow that. You know, whether you disagree or agree with everything, he stayed right there with what he was saying. Didn't raise his voice too much. Didn't switch lanes. You just kept it simple. And once that happened, now the conversation got to stand on its own. No shortcuts. Now take that same idea, right? If I can get my screen to work. And put it in a room where everybody's watching.
It is a big question, and I want to highlight, I guess maybe one facet of this is the tension, I call it. I live in this, this dichotomy between happiness that a young woman can look at Christina and just physicalize her passion or her interest, or even if it's not something she wants to do, she can just be like girl power, and that's awesome. And that young brown boys and girls can look at me and go, hey, he looks like me and he's doing what? And that's great. I love that. But I also hope we are pushing the other direction, that one day we don't have to talk about these first, that one day this is just, and I listen to this, that this is the human history. It's about human history. It's the story of humanity, not black history, not women's history, but that it becomes human history. It is
that answer right there. Most people wouldn't get at. Too easy to lean into it. Too easy to take the moment and run with it. But he didn't. He pulled it back to something bigger. Not groups or labels. None of that. Just the actual accomplishment itself. And for some reason, that's starting to feel rare. Would you agree? Now, this next one, no explanation, just framing. Just straight up.
Let me tell you something. I was MAGA yesterday. I'm MAGA today. I'll be MAGA tomorrow. I'll be MAGA forever. Don't forget that.
One more
Let me
time.
tell you something. I was MAGA yesterday. I'm MAGA today. I'll be MAGA tomorrow. I'll be MAGA forever. Don't forget that.
Hey, now that's not somebody trying to figure it out. That's not somebody that's trying to convince you either. I don't get that impression whatsoever. You know, no back and forth. That's somebody who already decided. You know, just this is where I stand. And whether people agree or not, that kind of certainty, it travels. But then you get to this part where the conversation changes depending on who's being protected.
My biggest problem with these fake ass culture defenders is that they're selective. Y'all get out here and scream culture, 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 but black people have no control over the culture anymore. The owner of BET is a white man. The owner of all these record labels are white men. The people that are in control of providing the culture with a platform are white men. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fake bot Twitter accounts got exposed when Elon started showing people's locations. And it's nothing but foreigners that ain't nowhere near America talking about black American hood culture. But then when guys like J. Cole, Drake, and even Jay-Z in his interview start taking shots at the culture and start saying things like certain things need to leave the culture, certain things shouldn't be a part of the culture anymore. Now all of a sudden y'all got all this love and pride for culture. If y'all always had this much love and support and pride for the culture, maybe it wouldn't be ran by people that's on the outside of it. And I'm not trying to say we shouldn't fight for the culture. I'm not trying to say we shouldn't stand up for it, because I'm black and from America. So culture means everything to me. My problem is don't pick and choose when to utilize it based on whatever narrative it is you're trying to push. Oh, Drake and J. Cole are biracial. That's why they don't get it. You know, it's funny because when people like Dr. Eric Dyson came out here and, you know, was giving his opinion on, you know, the entire Drake is not black or whatever narrative that he was trying to say didn't make sense to him, y'all and Jay-Z was telling him, oh, he just don't get it. It ain't about Drake being black. We know Drake black. It ain't about that. But now that J. Cole shares the same sentiments, y'all want to say, well, it's because they biracial. They don't get it. They got white moms. It's like, bro, which one is it? Like, is it about race or is it not about race? Y'all know exactly what J. Cole meant when he went on Lost in Vegas podcast and said culture, the word culture ain't nothing but a buzzword now. Because y'all just taking it and y'all applying it to whatever it is that you are arguing for, that you are defending. And no matter what color or what race or what background a person has, if they're agreeing with you, then you're going to place culture on them. Y'all be screaming culture, culture, culture. But then we got a white man reviewing black albums. Whole time this same white man has a history of disrespecting black people, disrespecting black American culture, spewing out racial insults. But because he bashes the same artists you bash, because he defends the same artists that you defend, y'all just allow that person to speak for the culture. If y'all was really about culture, that man would not have the voice that he's able to have in hip hop when it comes to reviewing black American culture, hip hop music. And he ain't the only one. There's plenty people outside of the culture that y'all let speak on and y'all allow inside the culture simply because they agree with you on something. So yeah, you can choose to act stupid and be obtuse about what J. Cole and Jay-Z is saying about, you know, what's going on in culture right now. But everybody with a brain and everybody with eyes can definitely see that it doesn't have the weight that it used to have because y'all are so open and selective with it.
Yep. Everybody got rules when it's convenient. Everybody got standards when it lines up. But the second it points somewhere else, now that's not what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Except it kind of is. It really is. It just wasn't supposed to be said out loud. Now, this next one, this is what people either lock in or instantly push away from it.
What's the black man's worst nightmare? Nope, it's not the white man. It's a black woman with a university degree. She's the white man's German shepherd, especially when that white man is a liberal or socialist. She started Black Lives Matter, and Black Lives Matter was the most toxic psyop the black community faced since Reagan's crack. Remember, BLM literally removed men from black community dialogue while building their scam on top of the dead and bloody bodies of black men. When black men died, lesbian black women got rich, all while claiming to be socialists. Now, the university is where a black woman goes to learn that she don't need a man, especially not no black man. It is where she goes to become a lesbian. It is where she goes to become a socialist. It is where she goes to become a communist, where she goes to become an agent against the black nuclear family. It is where she goes to lose her mind. Finally, it is where she goes to become everything but an asset to the black community. She thinks her degree makes her attractive, but that dusty diploma only impresses weak men and white men. She doesn't understand why strong men find it irrelevant to what they're looking for in a woman. Because the university doesn't teach her how to be a woman. It doesn't teach her how to be a wife. It doesn't teach her how to be a mother. And since her daddy wasn't around, probably because her mother is absolutely unbearable to be around, she doesn't know what a stable household or relationship look like. Her mama couldn't make her daddy happy, so how can she make a black man happy? Her mama convinced her college was the way because her mama is an expert in being single, lonely, depressed, and undesirable. A black woman with a degree isn't a black man's partner. She is his competitor. She has been designed and conditioned to compete with him. She brags about being able to compete with men. Outside of white liberal women, the woman she desires to be, no other woman on the planet competes with their men. So we must conclude that university is where the black woman goes to become a whitewashed enemy of black progress. Now, after saying all this, she'll say, I'm hurt. And the truth is, I am hurt. Why wouldn't I be hurt when the progenitor of our people has become the virus that plagues us? Of course I'm hurt because you called us bullet bags at our lowest moment. Of course I'm hurt because you've placed more value in a white man's trinkets than the love of a black man. Of course I'm hurt, but that hurt only means that I love you.
First of all, let me say, man, I think we need to be more pro-people. You know, everybody, not just... But that's one of those clips where it don't matter how you feel about it. You know exactly what's being said, right? He's not adding no sugar on it. And that's why it's going to hit or miss for some people because, you know, it's definitely no confusion. You either rock with it or you don't. And this is where everything just circles back.
You know who hates black people? Black people. You know who can't stand to see black people succeed? Black people. But white supremacy is the problem, right? Okay. Yet it is black people who commit the most violence against black people. And when black people kill other black people, it is black people who tell them that's gangster. Because black lives don't matter to black people until white people end them. Which means it takes white people to get you people to care about our people. But white supremacy is the problem, right? Okay. Yet it is black people who have made blackness synonymous with ignorance by insisting that degeneracy, self-destruction, and street culture are a fundamental part of black culture. It is black people who have made blackness synonymous with victimhood by telling black people that they're not black enough if they don't believe that white people are their oppressors. But white supremacy is the problem, right? Okay. Matter of fact, maybe you're right. Because the black people who've convinced other black people that they can't get ahead without the acceptance, assistance, and permission of white people sure sound a lot like white supremacists to me.
Wow. He said all that without raising his voice. That's what makes it land, right? Because when it's calm like that, you can't dodge it by saying, oh, he's just mad. Yeah, he doing too much. Now you got to actually sit there and think about it. And most people don't mind hearing something until it points back at them. And that's when it gets real quiet. So, since things are getting quiet, if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to write, talk to me. I don't know, it feels random. I don't know. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.